you're not a gingerbread cookie. You're not a gingerbread cookie. Like this idea that we're so focused on just what's in front of us, kind of that tunnel vision that you get when you're busy, you know?
No peripheral vision or idea of what's behind you.
There's more going on around us than what's directly in front of us. Hey everybody, and welcome to Epic Everyday. I'm Liz Frerichs, and this is my husband Evan.
Greetings.
Oh my goodness. We're so glad that you're with us here today. And as you guys know, we're working our way through the CSCs like we do every week, being calm, surrendered, centered, connected, and complete. And this week, we're talking about busyness and how busyness relates to the CSCs and how the CSCs combat that.
That's right.
Frantic, rushing kind of busyness. Not just the like, hey, I have a lot of stuff. And I'm doing it from,
That's right.
One end of the day to the other.
Yeah, but it's the frantic, out of control doing the stuff.
Right.
Where the stuff is really controlling you. You're not controlling the stuff.
Is your to-do list running your life, or are you running your life?
Yeah, hard to tell. Well, if you're feeling panicked, then it's probably not that hard to tell. That's what's happening.
Your to-do list is running your life, yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but today, so complete in regard to being busy. I saw, what we've been talking about this week is busyness, really being that internal attitude of out of control and panic and kind of desperation, really. Mm-hmm. And so that's a barrier to us living our most complete life. I mean, we're losing a big something, and so we're nowhere near as complete as we could be. So I don't know, maybe that's a good visual. Like it's a barrier to wholeness, and it reduces who we are to a robot or maybe a droid or something where you're just doing tasks.
Yeah.
I mean, I've felt like that where, you get up, like even if it's good stuff, like, I get up, I jog, I take a shower, I go to work, I come back, I make dinner, I do some laundry. Like you're just cranking away tasks all the time.
Right.
You've been reduced to a droid from Star Wars or something, and that's not who God designed us to be.
Right.
And we want to get back to purpose and mission. So what do you think of that? Have you felt robbed by busyness like that?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I've felt that my to-do list is running my day kind of thing, and not really. It becomes almost mindless. It's like those times where you're like, if you start your day and then you get to the end of your day and you can't tell how you got there, kind of like if you're driving someplace and then, you remember getting in the car and then suddenly you're there and you just don't remember any of the trip in between. Like, I feel like that's what happens when we're busy. We don't remember any of the hours where we were busy. We just remember starting and finishing,
Yeah, it can be, you're so disconnected with your personhood at that point.
Right.
Your mind's kind of like, well, okay, I'm not going to really bother recording any of this because it's
mindless,
not part of who we are.
Yeah.
So combating that, I thought, getting back in touch with who we really are, which is an independent agent created in the image of God. We're not a machine. We're part of our image of God is our free will. We can choose. Mm-hmm. And when we're swept away with business, we're choosing, we're making those choices.
Right.
But we can also choose to reflect our Creator a little bit more and be working towards something, some big goal, some bigger purpose, or you're going towards your destiny instead of just the grave, really.
Right.
So a good question would be, who am I? Who am I? And I'm not a robot.
Right. Well, that goes back to being centered. Like, if you're living out of who you are, it's much easier to connect yourself. to grab all of who you are rather than just being like, okay, I'm compartmentalized. I'm just living this. I'm being work guy right now. I'm being home person right now,
Yeah.
So, yeah, I feel like that definitely makes a difference.
Yeah. And is it kind of true that these principles maybe in Tai Chi or, they kind of add up to complete? I mean, it's one of them, but is it the
Well,
end
you
in a
can't.
series?
No, I mean, well,
They
kind
build
of.
on each other, right?
Right. You can't be surrendered if you're not calm.
Yeah.
And being complete, it really does. You have to do the other things first. But being complete means, in Tai Chi anyway, is using your entire body to do something.
So unity is part of it.
Right.
Unity in your
And
members,
then,
your parts.
and then being fully engaged with what's going on around you. Like our Tai Chi instructor likes to say, you're not a gingerbread cookie. You're not a gingerbread cookie. Like this idea that we're so focused on just what's in front of us, kind of that tunnel vision that you get when you're busy,
No peripheral vision or
Right.
idea of what's behind you. Yeah.
Right. And you walk around, like if you're going to look at something behind you, instead of just turning your head and your waist, you actually turn your whole body to be like, oh, what's going on behind me?
Yeah.
And so just this idea that there's more going on around us than what's directly in front of us and what's directly, for most people, it's where their brains are at. It's really interesting. You can watch the way people walk and it will kind of tell you a little bit about who they are and what's important to them.
Yeah.
Like people who are very cerebral and very focused on the future tend to walk like slightly, not really hunched exactly, but their head is
leaning forward.
Yeah, it's leaning forward. So, yeah, random
I saw
little
somebody
tidbit.
walking with their head. I mean, you see people a lot walking,
Hunched,
looking down.
yeah.
Not really hunched. Her neck was just like, she was just like looking at her toes straight down. Her back wasn't really bent at all. It's just like her head was straight down. It was
This was
just
painful.
Like, geez, how do you even see how you're going?
Yeah. Yeah. So I think, being complete and being able to see everything that's going on around us is so important. One of the quotes that our Tai Chi instructor uses, and actually I read that Eleanor Roosevelt used it too, randomly. But it's, if you change the way you look at something, the things you look at change. And so when we have that tunnel vision, our focus, it doesn't really help us. Like, we're so focused on that we can't see that there are other possibilities. We miss out on a lot of opportunities.
Yeah, or it even could be that you're still doing really similar stuff. Like you're still taking your kid to soccer practice, you're still doing your job. But if you change the way you look at it, those things become a path to fulfilling your mission.
Oh,
like
totally.
your God's call, And
Right.
if it doesn't, start doing some different stuff that actually does get you on the path to fulfilling God's call.
Yeah, seriously.
And if you don't know what that is, start trying to find out. I mean, get wherever you are, figure out what the next step is supposed to be. And hopefully, this show will be part of helping you do that. I mean, and we're on the path too, trying to figure out what that next step is all the time.
Right. But yeah, I mean, that can, just applying the CSCs in the moment can change so many things. Being able to be calm and surrendered and centered and connected and then move out of that can completely transform your life. I mean, when I first started Tai Chi, I started it because I have an autoimmune disease, and my doctor was like, either you can start taking Tai Chi or I can quit treating you.
Right, because there's nothing else that she could really do, right?
Right, yeah, because my stress level was so high that my body wasn't responding to treatments. And so when I started taking it, I was like, okay, this is going to help me physically, but it's been the mental side of things that has made the hugest difference. Just being able, even dumb things like being stressed out about, ordering stuff online and being able to say, okay, wait a minute, I'm going to stop. I'm going to apply my CSCs here. I'm going to be calm. Oh yeah, I'm not calm. Am I surrendered? Oh, nope, I don't really trust God with this. Okay, so stop, be calm, be surrendered. okay, am I centered? Am I doing this for the right reasons? Am I doing this because it's important to me? And am I even focusing on this? Or am I like using, half my brain?
Yeah.
Like focus, be here, and then am I connected to the Lord, or did I skip my quiet time today? Or am I feeling really isolated and stressed because I feel isolated? And then coming out of that and being like, all right, what are my options?
Yeah. And realizing that they're, even having options is a gift from God. And it's not,
Right.
Whereas maybe the stress comes from feeling like there's only one option and it's really bad.
Right.
Yeah.
And being able to, when we're so tunnel vision focused and we aren't able to engage our full selves, we kind of shut off our creative thinking processes.
Oh, yeah.
So it's no wonder that we think there's only one option, because our fight or flight is engaged and our problem solving is shut down. And so, yeah, being able to take that step back. And the other thing that I really love about Complete is that it involves having space around you that you can move in. And I think sometimes we don't have that space in our day.
Yeah. Probably a lot of time.
Right. I was so convicted. I can't even remember. I think it was a TED Talk, but they were talking about the importance of having time to daydream. And I was like, dang, that is not in my life.
You're like only using your creative mind in your daydreams. Is that why?
Well, no, it's because it just having that kind of white space allows your brain to work on subconscious problems and
like dreaming when you're asleep.
right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Organizing your thoughts.
Right. And then that's where ideas come from. Is those spaces when you don't have anything else going on. So
yeah, I mean, if your schedule's so full that you can't even think. I mean, people would even say that I can't even think right now.
Right.
And there's no creativity having there. The creativity thing. I mean, especially being a parent and learning some things about parenting and stuff. It's like a big part of what we want to do when we raise our kids is to let them. We say critical thinking, and we're like, oh, that's, I don't know. When I was in school anyway, it's like, oh, that sounds boring and stupid. But it's really like being creative and solving problems in a creative way. I mean, that's such a huge part of life. We don't have to just do. I mean, you follow instructions sometimes, and sometimes find a different solution that nobody's ever thought of before.
Right.
And that's when things get invented and amazing things happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but we can't do that if we're too busy.
Right. I'm too busy to even have that kind of white space, that margin in my life.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I at my job, I took a Microsoft Excel class a couple weeks ago, and I learned some shortcuts to do things. And then I was like, I'm going to use this at work. and I kind of, I don't know, and I could have, and I will, but there was something I was doing, and I was still like, this is taking a while, but I'm just going to do it the old way because I don't have to think, and I know it's going to get done. If I do it the new way, I have to remember what I learned, maybe look up at my notes, maybe try a couple things that don't work first until I find something that works.
Right.
And it was kind of just like, I don't have energy for that right now.
Yeah.
So I wasn't in the CSCs. I didn't even really think about it. It just was like, I'm just going to do it the old way.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a rough place to be in.
Mm-hmm.
It takes practice to try to do things a little differently. And it takes practice to abide in the CSCs. I mean, obviously, I need to practice some more all the time.
Well, that's why we started a podcast.
That's right.
To remind ourselves every day.
So we could be thinking about it all the time.
Yeah, because they do. I mean, they really do transform the way that you do things. I mean, that whole if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Like, I have seen that happen countless times since I started taking Tai Chi. Just being able to stop, take a breath, try to bring my entire self to bear on the situation. And suddenly things are totally different.
Yeah. Well, you even see that in just having a conversation with somebody. They might say something that just is like, well, it could go either way, I guess. It makes no sense, but to them it does. And it takes a little work to figure out what that is. Mm-hmm. Or you're like, oh, got it. and then you maybe go to apply whatever it is, and they're like, "That's not what it's talking about at all." You thought you knew and you didn't. So this completeness through relationship it takes some effort, but it's really fruitful effort. That's what we were talking about when we were talking about centered. I think when we're talking about being rooted in Christ and the fruit that comes out of, or maybe that was surrender, but the same idea. It's like that kind of. It looks like you're not doing as much, but it's actually growing all this really great fruit.
Right.
Because it's the power of God.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I was just, when you were talking about completeness in relationship, it was making me think about that quote from C.S. Lewis where he talks about how one of his friends died.
That's a pretty amazing. Yeah. What book is that from?
Man, I cannot remember off the top of my head. Yeah. We'll have to look it up and post it.
We will. But he's talking about how the loss of a friend, they're all the part of them that their friend drew out is now diminished.
Right.
And it's a really beautiful picture of like, you've got a family or a group of people, and everybody, like shines a different kind of light on who you are. Mm-hmm. And if one of those light bulbs goes out, it's really sad. So.
And everybody else has less of you.
That's right. That's what he was saying. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Pretty neat. Yeah. So C.S. Lewis, I don't even remember the name of his friend, but
Charles.
Yeah. So if you look up C.S. Lewis's friend Charles, thoughts about his death or something, I bet you'd find it.
But we'll post a link.
Yeah.
Anyway, we hope that you guys have an awesome Friday. It is Friday. Yay! So enjoy your weekend and, focus on the 1% of being more complete, being able to change the way that you look at things by applying the CSCs.
Yeah. And if it seems confusing or it doesn't even make sense, you can pray about it. I mean, the Holy Spirit is the power behind all this stuff in life,
Seriously.
I just love that. The more and more I'm a Christian, I'm like, why didn't I pray about it? Why didn't I pray about it? And just try to do that more and more. Mm-hmm. Is where the power is. So.
Yep. All right. Well, have an awesome Friday.
Yeah. Talk to you soon.
Bye.